Lots of stuff showed up while I was gone. Got me a new tool. I'll show you this later. Can't wait to use it. My coffee ready?
Almost.
I got this new one that is variable speed and has a variable trigger, so it's not just full throttle all the time. Better for doing barrel sanding and all that finish work that I do. That other one is a pain in the butt, and I didn't know that it wasn't variable speed, but can't wait to use it. I'm back at trying to get this figured out, and it's kind of confusing because I'm not real sure where my frame rail is going to be right here. I think I know, but now that I've measured it, it's going to be right where my bump stop is, so I got to extend this out, but I'm not sure I'm going to have enough articulation on my shock. So I'm going to go ahead and make some metal plates. I cut this one out, and I'm going to mock it up. I'm going to make it a little bit further over here, and the frame rail, you know, at full bump, it's going to set right on the steering, or real close to the steering. So I want everything to just package in here, and doing it without it being there is kind of hard. It's not like I have a computer to see what the hell's going on, you know, or draw it in there and cycle it. I have to figure it out in my head, and I don't like doing things twice, so we're just gonna kind of take our time. I'll make some pieces and get them close so that it's ready when I start putting the frame up there. And what I'll do is I'll get these mounted on the table where they're gonna be at full bump, and then I'll get the motor and transmission and transfer case on the table, and then I'll start building around it, bringing the frame rails up, and then I'll know where I need to be. Well, crazy stuff. Jess needs the GoPro out of here. She's trying to do some editing. I have to have this thing cleaned up also for next week, for when we go to LS Fest. Oh. Awful slippery. You can see where I've made this longer right here, and I got this angle where I'm gonna wrap it around that. I'm trying to follow all my lines, and I've got this fit in. This is supposedly where my shock's gonna be. I'm gonna break that so that it meets, and I just keep working everything until I get it where it fits good. And once I get one side done, I'll go in and do the other one. I've already cut it out. That way it's the same dimension. And then I'll put this in the same spot and bolt them together, and that'll get my spread perfect for the shock. Okay, you can see I've got pretty close. I've kind of fit this pretty good. I use a lot of references, like I take my little stack of tubes and I put circles on there so I know how big or a little bit bigger than the shock eyelet. I've got center lines on the axle, and what that's let me do is get this other side over there and get it where it's lined up and stuff. Now what I'm gonna do is I've measured between them, and it's roughly 2 inches. So I'm gonna take this tube stack and I'm gonna bolt these together. That way they're nice and straight. So I'm gonna bolt these together, and that just kind of tells me that they're perfectly flat on the bench and it's gonna be the same height and everything. This is where this tube stack also comes in handy. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to slide this on here like so. And you can kind of see what I have going on. This is a brake line. I'm gonna break this and bring this in to where it touches. But at the same time, I'm pretty close. I need to come back on this one, and then I'll have to break this in and get it where it meets that tube stack there, where my other bracket's going to be. And what I'll do is I'll leave this all open until I'm done, but at least I've got it made where I can put it on the bench or on the table over there. That way I'm not pulling the whole axle on and off the table or going back and forth between the saw and stuff. But just makes it easier. So I got this laid out. I think this is gonna be a good angle. You know, I've clearanced my brackets out here where they'll fit a 5-inch spring on what I think is going to be the angle. And we'll just kind of keep going from there. You know, next thing, once I get this perfectly straight, is I'll take the pattern that I used on this side. You can see I've changed it up a little bit. I moved my bump pad out, or gave myself more room. So now on this side, it's gonna be pretty much the same, except for I gotta cut this angle for this differential in there. And I'll start with the long side being this side. You can see how this is tapered. So the long side will come in, and then once I get that bracket done, then I can go in on the other side and shorten this and make my pattern for the back side, which is a little bit less. Hope this is helping you guys. I mean, it's just common sense mostly, but sometimes people don't see the ideas how to put things together and make them straight, and so I'm just kind of sharing my techniques. I've got both sides done to this point, and then I've gone in here. I'm actually gonna come in and lower this a little bit more because I want my frame rail, I want this, when it's at full bump, that's just gonna have about a 1/4 inch of clearance on the frame. And so I'm gonna drop this down so that I can get more up travel. The whole reason for doing links and everything is to get this vehicle as low as I can on 42s. And I want to get as much stuff as I can, and they work out better. You can tune the shocks a little better when they're even, and just dumb things like that. So I'm going to trim these all up now that I've got them all laid out. You can see, you know, I've taken my tube stack and bolted this together, and then there'll be a 1/2 inch spacer inside here for the shock because the shock width is 1.5 inches. Sometimes what I would do is I would just go ahead and cut this off right here and then move these plates in to where they're a little narrower, but I think I'm just gonna leave it where it's a full truss, comes all the way out to the knuckle. When this welds on, there'll be a slight break in this when I'm done to make this touch. But you can see how when I say modular, you know, you just use things like this to make sure they're perfectly flat. This being the section, you know, when I stack these on the table, this and this back here are completely horizontal, and then your different shapes. So you just kind of work it in and keep willing away and hope it fits when you're done. Here's what I'm cutting off right there. It's dang near 1 inch. And then I'll match the other plates to it. I laid these out and put a bolt in them so you can kind of tell what I'm talking about. Them being, you know, perfect across here where they meet the tube, and then up here where this bump pad's gonna go. And all this, when I cap the top of that, everything's exact. So it's gonna be nice and square and sit on there beautifully. Getting closer. That's all broke. That's broke where it follows it. Then I'll have to cut a tube on an angle, and then I'll start making all this structure, and I won't weld it, I'll just spot it so that I can change it. And then I still have to break this to get it lined up and everything. Well, I cut that. And now I just remembered, you know, the bump stop. There's 1.5 inches of the bumper on the bump pad itself, or on the bump stop. And I wanted my frame about right here. So I'm gonna actually go ahead and bring this down another 1.5 inches, and it's just gonna look better. It's gonna get more triangulation into it instead of having all this big blocky square stuff. So another 1.5 inches. I'm gonna start over again here and just cut that down some more. And what it's also gonna do is when my shock's on an angle right here, it's gonna give the perch a little more room and everything. So second time's a charm, right? Or third time, I guess. Okay, looks a lot different, right? I trimmed all that off there. The bump stop's gonna actually work a little better because I forgot about what hangs off the bottom of the frame. That way it's kind of evened up on there. And then I'll break this all in. I got this side broke in good. Getting close. Jess is coming to take me to lunch. Oh, there's my ride. Wings it is. We're gonna go get us some wings. She's been out getting a pedicure and all kinds of stuff. Getting her toenails done or whatever. Left me here doing all the hard work. Wild woman driver.
I heard you're taking me for wings.
Yeah, I didn't mean we're gonna fly. I didn't know you were flying here.
Oh, I thought you said you wanted wings, like to fly.
Whatever. She drives crazier than I do. Alrighty, I got this set up. We'll weld around this, weld under it, weld that up, and I got this tube all in here. So I've got one side done. I just got to get the other side ready. It's close. I just got to cut these top pieces for it, and she's coming together. And then this is my shock pocket. Long day's work. I got these all put together. I'm not gonna weld them on here until I know for sure that everything's gonna work, because I can at least remake it without cutting it off, but I'm pretty sure I'm solid on what I did. And I got these all on here. So both sides done, shock mounts, bump stops. I just need the car on the table and some shocks so I can ensure that my angles are good and everything. Looking good, slowly but surely. I hope everybody had a good Easter. It's Monday morning and back in the shop. I got my table all cleaned off here, got the rear axle on there. Today I'm gonna be putting my lines for my chassis on the table and stuff, and try and start getting a layout going, get my engine up there. And I'm gonna finish up a few more things on my not my brakes, but my front axle. I've got a few more things to do as well. Put the lower link mounts on. I'm not gonna weld anything, I'm just gonna spot it. I'd like to get the actual 42-inch tires on it and cycle the steering and just make sure everything's good, but I know where they're gotta go, and I'm gonna go ahead and spot them on pretty good. I don't think I'll have to move them. We got quite a bit done on the truss last week, got the bump stop pads on there and stuff, and same thing on that. I'm not gonna weld them on, I'm just gonna spot that stuff on. That way, if for some reason I missed on my measurements and stuff, and you know, it's kind of hard building something without all the products. I'm kind of an impatient person, so I try and measure and keep things moving, you know. My old man used to always say I'd do it 3 times before you could do it once right, and that kind of rubbed off on me, I guess. I'm very impatient, but anyways, we're gonna get some stuff going this morning. I had a bunch of parts show up over the weekend, and you know, we got a lot more on order. I'm still waiting for the tub. It should be here pretty quick. We got kind of a short week this week because we have LS Fest over in Vegas, so if anyone's gonna be around there, make sure to stop by and say hey. You know, we'll be up there having fun, doing some things. I don't know what, everything, you know, making smoke and throwing dirt and just a good time. So hang on. Here's a lot of the stuff that came in, a bunch of brake stuff from Wheelwood, and I'll be showing you a bunch of that, a bunch of new products that they have. You know, a lot of times we make our own brake pedals and stuff, but they actually make something that's gonna work out very nice. It's like a 10-to-1, I believe, and I'll show you how I do my brake setups. It's very important. But for now, I'm gonna go ahead and get some lines on this table, get me a center line, and start getting stuff on there. I'm gonna start by cutting these tacks off this. I had it set at 5 degrees for ride height, but when I build this, I'm gonna be building it at full bump. And at full bump, I will be 7 degrees up with my pinion. So I am going to set it at 7 degrees up. But first, I'm gonna cut these and get it square where it's just straight, and get my lower link perches spotted on so that I know that they're perfectly, I'm going 1/2 inch above center line when it's 90 degrees. So I'll start with that first and go from there. I've got another line on here now that I'm gonna use for my axle center line. And that way I can get more measurements and stuff. before I start cutting my tacks and stuff, I've just been kind of trying to visualize my link angles and stuff like that. I got my frame, you know, I know my frame's gonna be 40 inches outside in the rear. It's gonna line my bumps up with whatever I'm doing. And then it's gonna taper in on the downhill to 36 outside. I need to be 36 in the front for my link mounts and stuff, the way I wanna hit the chassis. And the only reason I know this is because just what I've built in the past. I'm not a computer person, so this is how I do it. I just visualize it and look at it and stare at it and try and figure out, okay, how am I gonna make this, you know, and this will come up at an angle to the 40 or whatever, but I just start piecing things together and getting lines on my table and then connect the dots. I've got these dimensions here. These are just dimensions that Matt Taylor, he's kept track for me over the years. Kind of was based off of the very first Jeep that Bailey raced, their pivots that I had done. And when I built that thing, you know what I mean? It was just built old school, where I just built it and knew what worked. And luckily he's kind of kept track of these for me. The only thing is this is gonna be a little bit wider, so I'm moving my lower pivot out 5 inches, because I always like my links out here on the very end of the axle as far as I can get them. And then what I'll do is I'll integrate the shock mount on top of it. And then I know that it's gonna clear my frame rail that's gonna be 40 inches outside. So the other Jeep that I had built, or buggy, you know, it was 5 inches in. That's just the difference, you know, is based off of a stock axle, I guess you'd say. So, this is custom width, and the reason I did that is because I didn't want to have to deal with trying to put wheel spacers on or whatever, and I run a big offset wheel, so everything has a purpose. And so I'm moving this link pivot out 5 inches, which means out here I need to move it out 5 inches to keep my understeer and oversteer kind of the same as what I had. I might split the difference. I know it's only in the understeer, him looking on his computer telling me that, you know, it's only maybe 2 degrees of understeer or whatever difference if I didn't move this pivot out with the rear. So we're gonna see what happens and just go from there. Okay, I've moved these where they'll be permanently out of my way. I've got them where the outside of them is at 40, which is the outside of my frame. Then I can get some better measurements. I've got this zeroed out right now. I will get my lower link mounts put on, and then I will roll it up to 7 degrees at full bump. Well, looks like the UPS man brought me some more goodies. Right on. Gotta love it. More parts from Brannick, and look at that. Made in the USA. Probably, looks like probably my unit bearings and maybe some axles. Everything's starting to come together. I got a bunch of this stuff unboxed. Check this out. This is Brannick's Legacy Pro Series, Pro 32. Check that out. Pretty sweet, huh? That's their direct drive. This is their hat that we'll be using with a set of wheelwood rotors and the radial calipers. This is what it's looking like. We're getting these all done up. He's making a radial wheelwood caliper mount, which I'll show you when I get more of it. And these are the seal housings that slide in. You know, they're made to go in the tube, and it holds a seal on one side, then it's got a tapered axle so it ramps the axle into your differential. Very nice pieces. These are the seals and stuff. These are their Pro Series. Check that out. That's pretty sweet. That just direct flanges right into that hub. And that's a F550 Super Duty hub with their custom stuff. And this is the direct drive bolt kit that goes in there. So that holds it in. And this holds their 1550 joint. I mean, look at the beef on that. Definitely don't think I'm gonna be breaking any of that stuff. That means I'll be able to play like a little kid again. This is their 1550 U joint that they make. Very beefy. I don't think I've ever had a U joint that big on anything. This is the slug for the rear for the adapter to go to 40 spline. So this slides in the rear hub on the housing. This goes right in here, and then that adapts your 40 spline to that direct drive hub. Very sweet. I'm getting excited, but I better get back to work now that I've showed you all my goodies that have showed up. Got lots more to come. And if you guys ever need anything, you know, be sure to go to Brannick's website. They have a lot more than this. This is just some of the stuff we're using that they make. They are doing the inner axle stubs and stuff. They've got a custom machine them to the right length that I have. So, time to get back to work. My angle ended up being the same as the front, except for I made this outer radius a little larger because the top of this is probably gonna be my shock mount. I'm gonna integrate it into it. So this is my rear lower mount, just a little bit bigger diameter around. I got a call that said I got tires out front. Got some 42s. Oh yeah. Some big tires. Okay, tires are stacked. I got these all ready. Now I'm gonna make some stands. I got these shims here so that I can get them shimmed out far enough. I'm gonna take this aluminum and punch a hole at 9 inches from the table, which will get me at the right spot. That way it's perfect when I mount it. Okay, I got these all ready to go. They're set at 9 inches to the center from the table, which is a 1/2 inch above center line on my axle. Do you see what I'm talking about? Like my fixture, these are sitting flat on here. That makes it perfectly horizontal, makes my bracket perfect. And once I get these put on, then I will roll it to the 7 degrees up that I need it for full bump and spot it to the table. Okay, I got this side spotted on. Now I'll do the other side and we'll be trucking. That's it. That's how I get everything straight. It's kind of a little redneck fixture. Comes in handy. I put this on the table thinking, oh, I'm gonna get it set up, and then I realized that this oil pan is a lot deeper than it looks. I was thinking it was gonna be like the ones that we usually use, which is the Camaro pan that's like a 8 to 9 quart or whatever. So I had to get on and order one from Holley. Holley makes a replacement for this L8P, and it doesn't hold as much oil, but it's gonna be a nice, probably take 1.5 to 2 inches off of this pan. So I'm gonna have to wait for that to come. And while I'm doing that, I am going to work on making a motor mount. I usually build my own. This one's a little different than the regular LS though. The bolt holes are a little wider, so I got it laid out. We'll see how it works. What do you think? Well, I'd like to say that I was kicking ass, but this was my first one. I messed up. I missed it. It's supposed to be 3 3/8 between these two holes, or 3 5/8, and I made this one 3 3/8. I'm dyslexic. Okay, now I'm gonna make the part for the bushing. I use these 2-inch spring bushings, and then I put a piece of 3/4 120 well tubing in them. So I basically made that just barely over 2 inch. Now, then I add a 1/4 inch here to clear the weld, and then I'll just connect the lines. Okay, next up, I cut some 1 3/4 120 well DOM. Well, this is chromoly, and then I got 3/4 120, and then I stock these spring bushings, and that just pushes in just like that. That's my motor mount bushing. I use these for pretty much everything. You can get them at a local spring shop. Then next, I use a shouldered bolt that's gonna go full shoulder through this bushing. I put my 1/2 inch shim on here, then my bushing, then my other shim, and that just gives me clearance for powder coat or paint or whatever. But see how the shoulder's sticking out? Then I put that on there, and then a washer and this, and I'll kind of just finger tighten it. It doesn't have to be tight. And then I just do that. Mark it and weld it. Couple of motor mounts, all done up. Now I'm gonna weld these tubes in here. Got them all in there. This is all welded up. I've been kind of just stitch welding it all day so it doesn't pull. And get this one in also. I wasn't gonna do anything, but it just looks unfinished, and it ain't gonna hurt it to be beefy. Heck, it'll be a good tie down spot if anything. So, gonna get her in there. Doing Harbor Freight things this morning. I picked up this load leveler, making an engine hoist with it. I don't like using the chain. It gets up around all this stuff, so I got and made me a bunch of brackets and stuff that'll bolt on, and then I can hook my chain up here above. I just wanted to get that load leveler as low as I can get it on there, so when I start pulling it in and out of the vehicle, if I have to, it's nice and tight to it and works out good. Now I gotta run down to the Ace Hardware and get me some metric hardware. Don't have a bunch of metric. I want flanged hardware. I do have a bunch of this kind of junk, but I like using flange bolts on everything. Quite the contraption, but we got it rigged up where we're clearing everything, and I can move it around easily without breaking or dropping it. Yesterday when I went to stick it on the table, it was quite a fiasco. I ordered a Holley oil pan yesterday, a replacement pan for this. So it'll sit a little flatter. This one's about 2 inches deeper than the one that I usually use. So that'll be here tomorrow, and I can get that on there and set it right down on the table and get that axle over here. Okay, I got all the steering put together now and got it where it's pretty close on alignment. I'm gonna leave these pieces off until I get more on the table and everything, and we'll kind of figure that out from there. I don't want to spot them on. I do have to put some spacers in down here for the shock mounts, and I'm gonna have to get some of that material. I don't have it right now, but we'll go ahead and lift this up and get it on the table and get it set kind of where I think it needs to be, and put these lower link mounts on. Forklift to hold this to the right degree. I want it 5 degrees down. I'm like a 1/10 off right now, but you can see where this line right here is my truss. So I'm gonna cut these off. That way when I set my truss on there, it clears everything, and then I'll just weld it right to the truss if everything lines up good when we're all done getting situated. There you go. You can see what I got going on. That's trim, so that bracket's gonna drop right in there. I think everything's gonna work out beautifully. And you can see how these stands just help hold it all up while I spot it. Then both sides are perfect. She's all spotted on. I spotted the stands back. I got it sitting at 8.9 degrees down. And that's what it should be at full bump, which is where we're building this car. So everything's coming together now. I just need to take all this junk out of the way and pack it up. Now that I got all my junk put away, let's see how this fits. Well, got to spin that around. Whoopsies. Oh yeah, look at that. Just like I planned it, huh? And then when we do have to weld that, she'll be ready. Let's try this other side. Guess I should have known. You gotta. Very nice. Tight quarters in here, huh? Everything's just kind of right there. I'm thinking when I steer it that way, I'll be able to get in there pretty easy. But not too many other places to put it, so that's where she blows. What do you think? Waiting on these bolts here. Oh yeah, I added these tubes in last night. Got them all welded up nice. Coming together. A few more things and I can put some brake lines on it and some tabs and stuff. So that's all done. I like doing things. I'd have rather had all them brake lines on it before I got them over here to the bench, but you know how it goes. Yep, she's gonna be sexy. Now you see these lines, that's why I put these lines on everything, you know, from the start of building it. I got the axles marked front and back and everything. That way I can get it all on the center line on this table. Same with the back. Well, it's hump day and I just got my car cleaned again, or my truck. We're getting ready to head to LS Fest tomorrow afternoon. I gotta pick up a trailer. Nitto wants us to bring the Land Cruiser out to put under their awning, and we're taking the race car for Holley, and we'll be out there, but I got a bunch of work to do. I gotta work on that trailer. Ricky loaned it to me. I don't have anything that hauls 2 cars anymore, but he loaned me his, and I'm gonna put some ramp holders on it so that they don't fold back over on the deck. They'll set up like my trailer does, so you can actually fit a couple of cars on it. Anyways, we're gonna get back to work on that this morning and go from there. Alrighty, so what I need to do is make a strap like my trailer that holds this ramp vertically, and make it where you can load all the way to the back, because you can't fold these down when you got a car on here, and I want to put 2 cars on here. So he sent me up some material, but that ain't gonna get it. Luckily I have a piece, some 2" by 3/8, maybe even 1/2 inch flat strap. That's a little more tractor-like for this kind of work. So I'll get them on there and we'll get to loading junk. I got me a mark on here. I'll cut this piece in half. I'd probably like it to be a little bit longer, but it's the only one I have right now, so we're gonna just go with it. I'm sure it'll be fine. Better than what he had. Gotta love this thing. Does the big stuff too. Punch all the way up to 1" plate. Shear 1". At least a little bit of a length of it. Now I'll mark my holes, and not sure what size bolt I'm gonna use. Probably a 3/4, something beefy. Just some beefy bolts with a little bit of a shoulder, give it a little bit better strength. And then we'll crush nut them things on there and make them tight where they hold themselves. Got these marked, I just gotta punch them. Gotta love my, whatever this kind of chisel is. Bam! She shakes the shop, but she gets the job done. Gotta love it. What I am dreading is drilling them damn holes on that trailer, even though it's only like 3/16. I don't like drilling. it off the table here. I've propped this up here where it's like 0 weight, where it's kind of neutral. Now I'll get my dimensions where I want to mount this and stuff. Got this marked, center punched, just enough to where I can get the bolt through this way if I want, or an impact on it or something. I think my battery might be dead, or I'm on the wrong setting naturally. Right on. Gotta love the old reamer. Okay, I've got that on there and tight where it actually holds itself. I might tighten it up a little bit more, but that way it kind of makes it easier to put together when you're working on it. I've marked this. This is the distance I have. I'm gonna take and break this right here in, and then I'll break it back just enough to make that where it's against here so I don't have to make a spacer of any kind. This Piranha comes with a nice little brake attachment that I use randomly. You know, you just take the hole punch setup off and stick this up here. I've actually modified this die for some other stuff that I was making, but it comes in pretty handy. Try that and see how that works. That looked like it fit pretty good. Now I'll do the other side to dog-leg it offset. Let's see how that works. Close enough. Now we'll put this back on here. Stay out of the way of the old guillotine. Have to drill this and make a pin for that side. What do you think? Looks pretty good to me. Redneckery. And there we have it, folks. Except for I'll find a nice pin at the hardware store before I'm done. What do you think? These ought to do. Some 3/4 pins, and then I'll weld a tube on to take up that slack and to give it a little extra support, thanks to Ace. Gotta love it, having an Ace this close. Comes in handy. Back to the coop. Mama's home. Make me some lunch. Boss lady made me some lunch. What'd you make?
Well, I made you this melty hot ham and cheese.
Oh.
What do you think?
Made with fresh Easter ham?
That's right.
Yeah, look at the thickness.
The thickness.
Kind of like you like the thickness, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, my lunch was delicious. I'm gonna weld this tube on here, and you can see where I'll have to just push in a little bit on that to get the pin in. That'll kind of keep it tight and give it a little leverage so it's just not eating this hole out right here. Getting close to done. Look what FedEx brought me. Looks like my oil pan from Summit. I'll be able to get that on there as soon as I get through fixing this trailer. I can get that thing off the crate and move on. Got this all buttoned up. Welded that in. That side done. Michael Lopez showed up to detail the Land Cruiser for me. We'll be on the road tomorrow. Okay, back to some real stuff, some fun work. Let's, oh, I guess I better plug this in. That ain't gonna work. Okay, works a little better when you got power. Get this junk out of here. Get this thing drained. Get me a wrench to drain that thing. What do you think? 15 millimeter, maybe? We'll see. Oh yeah, I'm right. Okay, while this is draining, I got all this unboxed and everything. I'll attempt to read these directions. I'm not much of a reader, I'm more of a picture book kind of guy. Hopefully there's some pictures in there, but this is everything it came with, you know, the different pickup, the block off. Too bad this didn't come with the 2 fittings in it ready to go for my oil cooler. But oil pan's very nice, a little heavier than normal. This is Holley's oil pan. There's the part number for it. This is a direct replacement for the LT motors. Okay, it says start with these, put some blue Loctite on and put that in. Pickup tubes in, all Loctited. Got the O-rings on there. Now for the windage tray. Well, I didn't read good enough. I messed up and had this bolt in here and that wasn't sitting flat. That holds the pickup tube, so I had to take it back apart. Okay, I've got all the debris off of here. I'm not sure what the hell. Most LS motors had nice gaskets. I guess they've gone back and went to silicone, so I had to scrape all the silicone off. And thank goodness for all the AMSOIL products that we use to clean up the mess. Gotta love it. AMSOIL to the rescue. Keep your motor alive and help clean it up. Oil pan's all done. I had to order a dipstick. I could probably make this one work, but I don't know if I wanted it at the back of the motor like that, so I ordered one, should have it. Now I'm on to getting this front diff in here, and the other day when I was doing the rear, I noticed that, you know, I don't use these ARB fittings. I don't like them. I like to put -3 AN on there, and they don't offer that. And this load bolt sticks out. So I kind of marked where it was at and everything, and I'm gonna cut this off. This hex goes pretty deep. I can cut a couple of threads off, and then I'll be able to get my banjo on there that holds the -3. So I'm not sure if any of you have ever ran into this problem, but no big deal. I'll get her done. this bandsaw. I use it for everything. This thing's pretty badass. That's not nothing light duty, that's some pretty hard stuff. Well, maybe not, it's a load bolt, LOL. There you go, all cut and trimmed up. Check out the difference. Now I got plenty of room right here, and of course my Allen wrench still fits in there nice, so I can torque it. Now I just got to put that banjo and the number 3 on there. And there you have it. The old banjo bolt through a brake line fitting, adapts it to -3. Very nice. I'm just kind of setting stuff up here, seeing how things lay out. I got my laser on here and my center line, just trying to see what kind of clearances I'm gonna have. This motor's gonna come up a little bit so that it's off the table. The table will be the bottom of the skid plate. You can see, I mean, this is a big yoke. This is race car stuff, 1480. So my drive shaft, you know, I was talking to Kyle at Arizona Drive Shaft the other day about, you know, usually we're like a 3.5 inch tube. He's gonna make it where it's 2.5. So tolerances are gonna be pretty tight, but it is gonna come to a carrier bearing over here, right where the pivots are and whatnot. You know, you can see where my upper link is gonna be just missing everything up here also. I got that big old steering pump and everything, and then this water neck. I'm probably gonna have to do something, a little bit. Yeah, it's gonna need some work on that. I'm not sure what I'll do for that yet, but if anything, I'll machine something or come out another way, or there maybe they have one that's got a straight on it, and these will get pulled out, and I'll thread these with pipe tap and put AN fittings on there. Come off, everything on it will be all AN fittings and XRP hose. But you can see, you know, when you're trying to get this much up travel out of something, which is where you get your good ride and everything, but it's not very easy to build. You know, you got to have things in the right places, and especially when you're not drawing in a computer, you know, sometimes you miss. I've had some stuff I had to cut apart back in the day and cried a little bit and drank a lot. Oh yeah, I forgot to show you after I cut that off and got that in there. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take and notch this out so that this sets straight up where it's out of the way of that bolt. And it'll also be like a little support for it when the hose is on it, you know, to kind of keep it from being out in the open, getting knocked around and stuff. But all these hoses will probably come up this trailing arm or upper link, and I'll start getting some brake lines on here and stuff. I'm gonna do the -3 bulkheads, and I'll do a couple bulkheads here and run hoses down the link. It's really coming together. Yeah, because this motor has to come up a little bit, I'm gonna weld a fitting on there, do AN hose, and then I can put a 90 or a 45, and we're gonna be down here somewhere, I think, anyway. I'll know a little bit more when I get the transmission and transfer case bolted up next week. Just trying to get an idea what we got going on and look at things. Michael's got this thing all shined up, looking like brand new again. He does good detailing. Thank you, Michael. It looks awesome, man. Can't even tell I abused it in Moab. All clean. Ready for LS Fest. I go to warm up my coffee, and she sneaks in front of me with some stupid wax or something.
I gotta keep things smooth.
Oh, I can do that. I got a tongue like a cat.
Oh boy, you watch it.
My turn. What the hell?
Wasn't hot enough. We can share the microwave.
I turn around and she whacks with my coffee. Oh boy.
I hope it tastes good.
Yeah. You're slowing down my process of getting to the shop.
Oh yeah, I'm so sure.
See how she is, folks? Always cutting in line. She's lucky. She's lucky I love
He
her.
taught me how to cut in line. He's the biggest line cutter I've ever met in my life.
Well, people let me in front of them. I don't cut them.
They don't have much of a choice when you just dry it up and I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna pretend like I didn't know where to go.
Oh yeah.
Hey babe, are you ready? What are you fiddling with?
I'm just making sure everything's secure so it don't blow out.
We've had that happen a time or two. Oh, yeah. Blow out, blow off.
Are you ready?
Yep, I'm coming down right now. I'm ready for Vegas. I can't believe he has me carrying my own luggage down the stairs. Hopefully I don't fall. But I am so ready to go to Vegas, even though I don't gamble. And as usual, he's playing with his cars. Ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, let's go.
Why don't you come over here where I can see you and let me get a look at you. Make sure you're dressed appropriately.
Do you see the colors I'm in? Don't even think about it.
Make sure you're dressed appropriately for Vegas. Where's that flashy stuff? Oh.
This is appropriate for riding in the car.
I like it. Why do you even make me work out? This is like I get a workout just looking at you. Get me all bothered.
I love it.
Yeah, I love it
Come
too.
on, babe, let's go.
I'm coming.
So a little behind the scenes, we had a little difficulty getting that car up on this trailer. It's not our trailer. We're borrowing a 2-car trailer to go to Vegas. That was fun. Let's see if this goes smoother. As you can see, our vehicles are now in a different order. We didn't like how it looked the other way, so we went ahead and changed it. No, really, we were having difficulty fitting them on here. Yeah, it really is. It's really wide. That looks so scary. And then we didn't want the cruiser in the back near the ramps, just in case something happened. We know the race car can take it. We're a little bit closer.
Well, that was quite the fiasco loading this junk. I don't ever want to haul 2 cars again, not on a trailer that's too narrow. It's like right on the edges, and them stupid arms that I put on there. I bent one pulling my car on. I had to pull it off and straighten it. Jess was laughing at me the whole time. She's like,
I was afraid he was gonna drive off the edge, to be honest. He's
well,
like,
I did
"No,
drive
I'm not
off the
gonna
edge.
do
She
that."
just didn't notice.
Yeah.
I smashed that thing, but yeah, we're gonna get on our road.
We have to do a little something first.
Oh, a little
We'll
something.
include that in the video too.
Is that right?
It's not what you're thinking.
Yes, that's a lot of trailer for me. I like to haul one little car so I can haul the mail. Yeah. So thank you, Kanga, for nominating me for the USC Speak Your Mind challenge. I'm nominating Jess, and she's gonna be wearing what I want her to wear, something similar, without anything under it. And Waylon Campbell and Michael Pendleton, you guys have 24 hours. I don't know why they did this to me. Yeah, you're gonna get it.
I just got some.
Oh dear, look what I picked out for your little ice bucket challenge.
That's not what the ice bucket challenge is about here.
Yeah, well, you guys got me wet and cold.
No, the baby
I'm gonna get you wet and cold.
But I found Emerald's bottle.
Oh. All right, dear, saddle up.
Oh, you're finally ready.
I don't want to hear
You've
it.
been playing around in cars, ice buckets.
Well, shame on you guys for
Waiting to go to Vegas.
getting me all cold. Probably never find my wheelie ever again.
Right.
Yeah, great. Wait till you get iced. We're gonna find everything about you.
Do you like monster trucks? Aw, you're shy.
Hurry, take a picture, bud.
Oh, let me go grab my phone.
Can you tell me your name?
Francisco.
Francisco. Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi.
Where are you guys from?
We're from here.
Okay,
We were coming back from Shoal.
right on.
And
So I have a half a tank, and every time I try to go down the highway, I'm like, oh, I can make it. We end up running out or something, and
Yeah.
Jess is like, just stop.
I said, we're not gonna play that game. Let's see how far we can get or unload one of the vehicles to tow this rig. I don't think so. Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll just do the sure thing and fill up now.
I've had to unload my race car and drag my truck and trailer down the 40 one time, and that was not very fun.
Yeah.
So we'll get diesel.
Taking a different route into Vegas so we can avoid all the chaos.
Thanks to my navigator, I didn't even know there was another route into Vegas.
Lakeshore Road for 12 miles and then somewhere else, so we'll see.
Well, it beats driving in Vegas traffic.
Yep. We've got 42 miles to go. Wait, what did that say?
Gift Day Thursday. Means I get gifts.
Gift Day Thursdays. Looks like I'm getting a present. Well, we finally made it. It actually wasn't a bad drive. And that little shortcut there by the lake was awesome. So we're gonna go check into our room, get settled, and get something to eat.
What are we having for dinner?
Tuna tartare, wedge salad, and the fillets on the way.
She always takes me to the good places. Which flavor are you looking for?
Probably the Virginia Slims.
Oh. I don't know. Newport. Parliament.
Pall Mall.
Oh, yeah, them are all Pall Malls and Marlboro. That's what my dad and my grandpa smoked.
We've made it to LS Fest out here at the Speedway in Vegas. We've got the Land Cruiser under the Ditto booth. We're gonna move the race car down to ADS.
Pretty cool looking old tow truck. And I'm a fan of the old Chevys. I'm Shannon. How you doing? Nice to meet you, Shannon. I was just telling Dustin I was checking out your truck. I used to build a bunch of trucks.
cool. Yeah, we're into. I have like a dozen of these stores.
Yeah. I'm intrigued with the tow truck part of it though. You know what I mean?
We've kind of got a lot of weird shit like that. I have a Suburban
LS swap that has like 100,000 miles on the bill. Like legit, like my family would go everywhere. I have like
Well, you all know a tow truck is in our very near future. Love the mud flap.
So everybody, this is John and Dustin. I just met these guys because they're a badass truck. And,
Yeah, we're from Driveway Finds.
Yep. So, and they also have a YouTube channel. I just found out.
Yep.
So
Yep.
Driveway
YouTube
Finds.
and Instagram.
Yep.
And Instagram.
Yep. So you'll see the whole tow truck build on there. We have like the intro for it. We have been super busy working on this thing day and night till 11, 1 in the morning.
Every
we pulled the
damn
small
day.
block out of this 3 months ago, and we drove 450 miles here at LS Fest. So
He says it was sitting down the street from his mom and dad for what, 20 years or what?
not 20 years, but I drove past it at least 20,000 times, it feels like, right? So, no, it probably 3 or 4 years I drove past this truck and I'd go, it's still there. It's still there.
This whole thing started with me and him driving somewhere. We're like, what if we built a tow truck that was cool? And then we're like, what if we built a tow truck that had power?
Yep.
You know, when we built this engine from a bare block.
I loved it. It's just everything about it's vintage. The little gumball light. And all the
There's stuff
movement,
that's
the
not
winch.
vintage we're gonna change. There's a lot of stuff left on our list.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah,
But it still has that look. And,
Yeah, exactly. It's all about the look, keeping the vibe of the old school tow truck. What it was originally, you know, that's what we're about. So,
And it's actually usable.
exactly.
That's even more
Yeah, we
badass.
towed a truck in here. I mean, a car in here just for fun. It's going to be in the Burnout Awards competition later, but we did it just because why not?
I love
right?
towing with it. There's nothing I want to do more than.
And then show them your drive shaft. They were
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
do the burnout pit.
All right.
Before. They're
So we're a little gun shy. This was our first burnout, which wasn't
Yeah,
a
I did
burnout.
that. Unfortunately,
It wasn't a burnout at all. This is pretty much it. But
It hooks up, in other words.
exactly. But it was fun. Kind of shows you how much power and how much weight this truck has. So we're a little gun shy on the burnout because we still have to drive like 450, 500 miles home.
I think it's
so.
actually a lot more.
Is it?
650.
Okay, I'm underestimating.
650, they said.
Have you
Okay.
guys ride in it or?
No, so we kind of
So we
split it up.
towed 2 vehicles here. So we towed. I have a Mercedes that's LS swapped in Jake's booth. It's a little '66 Mercedes, total little grandma car with a cammed LS. And we have our '56 Chevy that won the burnout competition last year here. That's like a proven 4-horse of burnout competition. And then this, we really want to make it into a burnout vehicle. We just need like another month of fine tuning.
Yeah,
So we don't.
It's gonna be fun dealing with the weight and the dual
Exactly.
tires.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly.
It's gonna all it's gonna want to do is
Maybe
hook
we'll
up.
have a jack with wheels that goes down and lifts the tires where they're barely touching.
Yeah.
I was thinking of like an onboard water sprayer
Yeah.
on the back tires,
I mean,
right?
yeah, bleach
Yeah.
and water.
Exactly.
It's
Something
still in
old
the
school,
works,
yeah.
right? Exactly.
Very
She's
good.
definitely gonna want to break again.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, it's got. I built this drive shaft like I said like a week ago, but it's pretty fat now. It's like a diesel. You know, it's like
Oh yeah.
that.
Well, then the next thing that goes is the pinion and
Right.
the ring gear.
Exactly.
We brought a pinion.
Yep.
We're
Yeah.
we could, but I don't want to
I've
spend
been
all
a
else.
master of blowing things up
I'm
myself.
sure.
That's
I'm
how
sure.
I learned how
I'm
to.
sure. Exactly.
how to
Exactly.
fix it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I just don't want to deal with it. If the Mercedes blows up, it just goes on the trailer. If
Yeah.
the 56 blows up, it just goes on the trailer. If this blows up, we're like,
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
what are we gonna? It's really, it's like we don't want to tow this heavy thing home. So.
Yeah, thank you guys very much.
Yeah, of course, of course. Nice meeting you. Nice talking to you guys.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Definitely. Thank you.
Do a little bit of prep work float.
She's pretty bad to the bone. Check out the interior. Just everything about it. Factory tag. This is a very clean truck. These boys bought it for $6,000. Check out the gumball light and just all the old boom and stuff, you know, the way that everything's put together, and it's legit. I love this thing. I wish I'd have found it. So cool. Yeah, he's gonna have his work set cut out trying to do burnouts in this thing. She heavy.
I brought my truck.
He's getting excited because I told him he might be able to take me to a show tonight.
I'd do it anywhere with you.
And not the movies, yeah.
I don't know. I'll take you to a show.
Dinner and a show, maybe.
She is my show, smoke show. I like to show her off. What you got there?
Hot Fudge Sunday. He had both those golf bags and he was like,
Taking my girl to the Salted Lime. For dinner, we had a fun day out at LS Fest.
yeah,
Good times.
look at my sunburn.
Oh, you're gonna have to wear a bikini tomorrow.
I'm gonna have to go nude to get
Oh,
rid
I
of
like
tan
that.
line.
I like that. I'll get you some patches to put over your nips. Yeah. I got the coconut margarita and Jess got the Cadillac. Mine's pretty good.
Mine's very good.
It's very delicious.
Very delicious.
Let me try. It is very good. But coconut's got a good flavor. I like coconut.
Just hanging out in the truck this morning. The hotel, the internet in the hotel is just total trash, and I tried to download some videos. The download speed was like 1 megabyte or something like that. So I came out here, hooked up the Starlink, and now I've got everything running smoothly. I'm still hard at it, and we've got him over there. 9:18 a.m. and he's still in the bed. What is going on?
Series, it's pretty good.
Oh, he is a crack addict when it comes to binge watching. He is the binge watch king.
I'll be quiet so I can watch my movie.
Did you hear that?
Has us all kind of lost. She's taking me to brunch at the Hash House.
Hash House a go-go.
We're kind of lost in Vegas, if you want to know what I mean. Lock the door. I haven't been loved on.
Oh boy, it's because you were too busy binge watching your show.
Well, guys, she always picks the right one. The triple cherry. We're waiting for our reservation, and we figured we'd gamble because we're big gamblers.
Yeah, look at all this money we're going to put in here.
Oh.
I guess it'll only take that for
It
now.
probably only takes pennies. No winner, winner.
This handle doesn't work. I don't like this machine. Out.
She got triple ripped. Wait, did you make money? 39 cents. I don't know how she always does so good. She put a 5 in and she won 39 cents.
So we were wondering what casino we were in. We are actually in the Link, which I didn't know was the place. But
Well, good job, babe. You just made us money. We don't even have to work today.
I'm gonna go find a better machine.
Now she found a penny machine and she won 25 cents. Oh.
15 miles.
I said, got my burgers, walking back.
Do you feel like Mammy?
Yeah.
Playing slot machines? She's a pro though. She sits here all day.
I know. I'm confused. I want to do anything.
It's not a gear shifter. You can't go to 4th gear yet.
It's not doing anything.
We are definitely novice gamblers.
Yeah. I don't know what to do. So we thought I was winning because this machine was blinking and making noises like I was winning, and then, it wouldn't let me do anything. So I had to cash out, and apparently I was losing the whole time.
You got 39 cents at the first machine after putting 5 in.
And I
now,
put 5 in here and I got 40 cents.
this sounds like Vegas is making money off of us. We got to get out of here.
Yeah, we should go to the real money maker.
Yeah, that's
Go to
you.
the table.
You're my money maker.
That's right.
This place is so busy. It's insane. It was quite the wait. But it was worth the wait, eh? Got my Bloody Mary.
So, I just took a video, and since you're here, I'll show you. Tell me what you think about the size of that straw.
I could irrigate my yard with this. It's like one of them.
Look at this. I put a regular size in for size difference. They really want you to get it done quick.
Chorizo and something.
Jalapeno, some sort of hash.
Chorizo hash. He's taking me to the Ferris wheel now.
The high roller.
Yeah, we're gonna be up there doing something.
We had some time to kill this morning, so we just got done with a really delicious brunch. And now we're gonna check out this high roller at the link. But before we get on, Shannon needs to get himself some popcorn. He smelled popcorn. All right, here we are. Getting in line again for another something to experience.
Zipliners. It's quite the view up here in the old high roller. Unfortunately, there's people in our cabin with us.
Oh, look at the waterway out there for like the Bellagio water show. Is that it? Yeah.
Alright guys, finish the lyrics. Can you take me higher?
I'm out on this one.
Can you take me higher?
And higher?
To a place where blind men see.
I thought you knew the lyrics to everything, damn.
Darn it! Thanks for letting us try. Can you take me higher? Thank you guys.
Well, she didn't bring her white shirt, and this is all we had.
All right. Thank you, Shannon, for nominating me for the USC Speak Your Mind Challenge. I'm nominating Tiffany Stone, Christina Osborne, and Carly Payne. You have 24 hours.
I was hoping for a wet t-shirt contest. Well, Mama got iced. Not as good as me, but she's riding to the hotel in her panties. Lucky for me.
Jacket on.
You don't need that. We're in Vegas, baby.
I know. They'll think I'm like, this is like a scene from Pretty Woman.
She's taking me to the top of the world.
It's backwards, but it says it's always better on top.
Yeah, that's why I let her on top.
Babe, that might have been a funny face I made because he was party fouling already and he's only on his second drink.
Taking a little bath.
Well, I thought I lost him, but I didn't.
I was just making sure we got entertainment in our seats.
Oh, we paid for some
now, babe?
I have no idea. Somewhere warm.
Viva Las Vegas.
Which way do we go on this trip to go somewhere else? Dirty martini.
She's dirty. Jess said she wants to go canoeing. Canoeing.
Canoeing. Instead, you have to find the hidden bookcase.
That's it right
And there is
there.
no password.
Thank you guys.